Simon Says subscribe and click on the bell icon to receive notifications.
In this quick video tutorial, I'm just going to run through and show you the process of converting a PDF to a Word document. Now, most of us are probably reasonably used to working with PDF files. They offer a lot more security when sharing your files with others, as they make it a lot more difficult for people to make changes. At least that has always historically been the case. But these days, Word makes it super simple for you to take a PDF file, open it in Word, and then make edits to the document. And the process of doing this is probably a lot simpler than you think. So let's take a look at how we would do this. Now on my desktop, I have two PDF files, and these are basically just templates that I've created in Word and then saved as a PDF. So currently, I can't make any edits to this particular document. I also have another one which is along the same lines. This one is for an invoice. If I double click to open, it's opening in my PDF viewer. And again, I can't make any changes to this document. So what if I now want to open these in Word? Well, let's pull up Word. And there are a couple of different ways that you can do this. The first way is super simple. If you jump to File and go down to Open, all you need to do is browse to where you have your PDF file stored. I'm going to select the first one here, invoice.pdf, and click on Open, much the same as you would with any other file. The difference here is that you're going to get a little pop-up message that says Word will now convert your PDF to an editable Word document. And it also warns you that depending on the amount of graphics that you have within the PDF document, this can take a while. And I will say that when you convert your PDF to a Word document in this way, it doesn't necessarily always come across exactly as it looks in the PDF. So there might be a few little adjustments that you need to make, but in general, most things should be in the correct position. So let's click on OK and see what this invoice looks like. And there we go. In this case, this is pretty much exactly the same as the PDF. Everything's in the correct position, but I can now jump in here and I can change the name. So if I just type in my name up here, you can see what that looks like. Now you can see here with this one, this isn't correctly lined up, so this might be where I need to make some minor adjustments. So for this, I'm going to grab the indent on the ruler. I'm just going to drag that around to get everything lined up nicely. So if you need to, go in, make your minor adjustments, but in general, everything should be in the correct place. So that is the first method that you can use. The second method is even quicker. And for this, I'm going to place Word into one side of my screen using that Windows snap-in facility. An even quicker way of opening up this PDF in Word is just to select the second template, which is resume.pdf, drag and drop into the Word window. And again, you're going to get that pop-up message. I'm going to click on OK. And it's now opened up that resume in Word. And again, if I look down, just check it for details, I can see that references is kind of on its own on the other page. So I might want to make some changes to the layout. I might want to move some of this up or maybe change the font size so that everything fits nicely on one page. But once again, everything is editable and I can jump in here and make any changes that I need. And that is pretty much it. So simple to open PDF files and edit them in Word.
Hello everyone, welcome to a new tutorial from Simon Sez IT. In this video, I will show you how to recover a Word document. We often have a hard time when the document is not saved, leading to various mishaps. In this video, let us see 4 proven ways to recover a Word document in case the document disappears, closes, or crashes abruptly. Let's dive into it. One method to save the unsaved Word document is from the Manage Documents option. First, click on File in the main menu. Under File, navigate to Info and click on the Manage Document dropdown. From the options, click on Recover Unsaved Documents. This opens up a dialog box that shows the folders of unsaved documents. Navigate to the document you want to restore and click Open. Now, click on the Save As to save the document. When couldn't you find your Word document? There are chances that it might have accidentally been deleted. To find the deleted document, open the recycle bin. Search for the document using the search bar or scroll through to find your document. Once you find the document, right-click on the document and select Restore. This restores the document on the desktop or in the location from where it was deleted. If Microsoft Word crashes and you want to recover the document, first open Microsoft Word. There is a possibility that the data might exist when you open Microsoft Word. However, sometimes the recovered document might not appear when you open Microsoft Word. In such a case, open Word and go to Options. This opens up a Word Options dialog box. Navigate to save and copy the auto-recovered file location. Open the folder which houses the unsaved document, and double-click on the unsaved document. Now you can save the document using the Save As button. Another way to recover Word documents is by using the Open option in Word. Open Microsoft Word and navigate to Open in the File menu. Click on Recent and under the Documents section, click on Recover Unsaved Documents. This opens up a dialog box that contains the folders of the unsaved documents. Select the folder which contains the documents and click Open. This opens up the unsaved Word document. Now you can use the Save As button in the banner to save the document. That is all, folks. We now know how to recover a Word document. Choose the method that suits you the most. Thank you.
Hello again, this is Deb and welcome back to Word 2019. In this module, we're going to take a look at how you can navigate around your document. Now, I have open on the screen the navigate.docx document, and this is just a document that's been created about Smith properties. Now, the first thing I want you to do is I want you to cast your eyes down to the bottom left hand of the screen, where you can see here it has section 1, page 1 of 3, 845 words. So we're getting a little bit of information about this document from our status bar. I can see it has 3 pages and I can see the number of words, and I can see that currently I'm clicked in section 1. Now we're going to talk about how you section up documents a little bit later on, so don't worry about that too much at the moment. What I want to focus on is how you can quickly navigate using some of the tools in Word to jump around your document, which is particularly useful if you have a very long document. This document here only has 3 pages, but a lot of the documents you create could be hundreds of pages long. So being able to quickly jump around, find what you need is extremely important and will add to your efficiency. Now, obviously, I'm going to start with the most obvious thing. A quick way of moving through your document is to use your scroll bar on the right-hand side. So I can use that just to scroll up and down. And again, if you've only got a few pages in your document, that might be absolutely fine and that might work for you. So you do have your scroll bar. But let's talk about using some utilities for a document that's a little bit longer. So first of all, I'm going to click my mouse at the top of the document here, just in front of where it says Smith Properties. Now, if I had a document that was thousands of pages long and I wanted to jump right down to the bottom of it, it's going to take me quite a while to use the scroll bar and scroll down. I'll probably end up with a little bit of a wrist ache by the time I've finished. So a quick way of doing it is to use your keyboard in order to jump you straight down to the bottom. And in Word, what you need to do is press Control and End, and that will jump you all the way down to the bottom. And you can confirm that by looking down in the left-hand side in your status bar. It says that we're now on page 3 of 3, so I know that I'm on the last line on the last page of that document. If I want to jump all the way back up to the top, if I do Control and Home, that's going to do the reverse. A couple of other shortcuts: if you hold down Control and press your arrow key, so you can see here I'm pressing the right arrow key, it jumps me per word. So you can see it's jumping around that document just per word. So another quick way, and I could go the other way by using the left arrow key. Control up and down will jump me up 1 paragraph at a time. as you can see as I do that, and the same if I do Control Up arrow. And if I wanted to select everything in my document, a quick way of doing that would be to do Control A, which will allow me to select all of the text in my document. And we're going to be utilizing Control A as we go through this course quite a lot, because it is a really useful feature when you want to make mass changes to text. Hello everyone, and welcome back to this course on Word 2019 Advanced. We're down into section 14, where we're taking a look at how we can protect our Word documents from unwanted changes. And in the first module in this section, we took a look at how you can utilize the read-only option to prevent accidental changes. And we're going to pick up in this module where the last module left off. So currently I still have my random text document on the screen. And currently this document has read-only protection. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove that read-only protection. So let's jump up to the File tab, back down into Info, and you can see here I have this little yellow warning box that says, to prevent accidental changes, this document has been set to open as read-only. So what I'm going to do to remove that is just click the Protect Document drop down and deselect Always Open Read Only. This is essentially a little toggle. So when I click on it again, it removes that protection. Now, what we're going to do in this module is we're going to take a look at a different type of document protection. And once again, you'll find it in this drop down. And it's this one just here, Restrict Editing. And you can see it says control the types of changes others can make. Now, this is the option that you'll want to use if you want to have a little bit more control over which parts of your document people can edit. So it might be that you want people to be able to edit certain heading styles. Maybe they can modify heading 1s but not heading 2s. Or maybe you have some kind of form in your Word document and you want people to be able to complete the form but not modify anything else within that document. These are the types of scenarios where restricting the editing is going to be your best option. And you can see here that I have on the right hand side a restrict editing pane that's opened with 3 distinct sections: formatting restrictions, editing restrictions, and then start enforcement. So really here you can select either number 1 or number 2, or you can select both of them. And then once you've made your selections in these first 2 areas, you can say, yes, I want to start enforcing this protection. So let's take a look at this first one. This is where you would come if you want to limit your formatting to a selection of styles. So if I check this option, I have a little settings link underneath, and you can see here it says what it's going to do. It says by restricting formatting to the styles you select, you prevent the ability to modify styles and the ability to apply direct formatting to the document. Select the styles you want to allow to be used in this document. And if you look at the little window underneath, you can see it says checked styles are currently allowed. So currently I have everything checked. So if I was to share this document with someone else, as this is now, everything that's checked can be modified. So I can go in and I can deselect or select certain things that I want to allow people to be able to change. And remember, this just relates to styles. Underneath, I also have 3 buttons, so I can choose to select all, the recommended minimum, or none. Now I'm going to leave it on none for the moment. You'll also notice underneath we have some other options, so you can allow auto format to override formatting restrictions. You can also block a theme or scheme switching. Now I'm going to select that option as well. And you can also block quick style set switching as well. So this really locks down what people can do when it comes to the styles within your document. I'm going to click on OK. So now it's telling me that this document may contain formatting or styles that aren't allowed. Do you want to remove them? Now I'm going to say no. Now the second option I have in this restrict editing pane is I can apply some editing restrictions. So I can say only allow this type of editing in this document. And when I click the drop down arrow, I can choose to allow only editing for track changes, comments, filling in forms, or I can set it to read only access. So maybe I want people to be able to comment but not actually change anything else. I might restrict the editing to comments only. Or Or I might want people to be able to track changes only in the document, but not change any of the actual text. And you'll see when I select to allow people to comment, I can also add in some exceptions. So again, it says select parts of the document and choose users who are allowed to freely edit them. So if I wanted to allow Adam, for example, to only edit the comments in my document, I can select more users and then choose Adam's name from my Outlook address book. Now, I'm actually not going to apply any editing restrictions, so I'm going to deselect that option. So currently on this document, I have some formatting restrictions, but no actual editing restrictions. So once you've set your options, you then say, yes, I want to start enforcing protection. And Word is going to ask you to enter in a password. So I'm just going to set a password on this, and then I need to re-enter to confirm and click on OK. Now, at any time after I've set this type of protection, I have the option to stop protection. And you'll see in this restrict editing pane, right at the bottom, I have a button that says stop protection. Now, I'm not going to do that for the time being. I'm just going to close down this pane and close down this document. So now let's jump back in and reopen our document. And you'll notice something very interesting. So currently I'm clicked in this first heading where it says video, and this has a heading 1 style applied to it. So if I decided that I wanted to change this to a heading 2, if you now look on the home ribbon in the styles group, you can see that all of my styles have disappeared apart from the normal style. So normal style is what I have applied to the body of my document, and it's the only style I have available in this particular document, because if you remember, when it comes to formatting changes, I restricted all formatting changes to this document, so you can't come in and make any changes to these styles. What I also did is I blocked the ability to change themes. So if we jump up to the design ribbon, you can see that my themes button is completely grayed out, as is my colors and my fonts and my effects options. So very quickly, I've managed to restrict any changes being made to the document styles. And as I mentioned, at any point when you're working on your document, you can stop enforcing this protection. So if we jump back up to File and go into Info, and we want to go back down into Restrict Editing, it's going to open up that pane, and I'm going to click Stop Protection at the bottom, and it's going to ask me to enter in my password to unprotect the document. And there we go. And I can now jump in there, deselect Limit Formatting to a selection of styles. I'm going to click on Settings, and I'm going to untick Block Theme or Scheme Switching. Click on OK, close my pane down, and you can now see that I have my themes back again, and I can switch between them. So there we go. That is it. That is how you restrict editing to certain parts of your Word document. In the next module, I'm going to show you how you can encrypt your document with a password. So please join me for that.
Hello everyone, welcome to a new tutorial from Simon Sez IT. In this video, I will show you how to track changes in MS Word. Imagine you are writing an article or preparing a report for your organization. It may involve some of your teammates, reviewers, and editors to work on them. At the end of the day, you will have a document completely altered from your original script. In such a case, how will you observe what changes have been made and who made those changes? In Word, you can easily track the changes made by you or others. As the document owner, you can also accept or reject the changes made by others. To do this, you need to first turn on the Track Changes feature. Open any Word document and click on the Review tab. Go to the Tracking section and click on Track Changes, or you can use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl+Shift+E to start tracking the changes. Once the Track Changes feature is enabled, every change made by you or others will be tracked by Word. By default, the changes you make will have a red margin on the left. This margin color will be different for different authors who make changes to the document. If you don't want to track the changes anymore, you can easily turn it off. In the same way, go to Review. Under Tracking, click on Track Changes again, or you can use the keyboard shortcut Control plus Shift plus E to disable it. Once you have switched off Track Changes, the Word document does not track any changes that are made. However, the previously made changes will be recorded and visible. You can see the changes made to the document by any of the methods. Some users prefer to add comments to indicate changes made in a document. To add comments to the document, select the text you want to add a comment on and click Add Comments. Now type in the comment inside the comments box. Another way to see the changes is by using the markup dropdown. There are 4 ways to see the changes made to the document by selecting any one of the options from the markup dropdown. The simple markup points out the changes made with a red margin towards the left side of the document. However, it does not give much detail about the changes. All markup gives a detailed description of the changes. It shows all the changes made, including comments and other details like font style and size. No markup simply displays the latest version with all the changes incorporated into the document. The original markup shows the original format of the document before the Track Changes features was switched on and changes were made. You can also choose to see any one or more types of the changes made by selecting them in the Show Markup dropdown. Here you can toggle on or off to view the comments, formatting, insertions, and deletions. Moreover, you can see the changes made by specific people using the Show Markup dropdown and selecting the Specific People option. If you are an editor, or if the article has just come back from the editor, you might want to see the changes in a detailed format. The Review pane helps you to see the changes in a list view. It provides details like the inserted text, the format of the text, the comments, and the deleted text. To see the detailed review window, just click on the Review pane in the Review tab and choose Reviewing pane horizontal/vertical. In this video, we saw how to track changes in Word the easy way. When you share your documents with others, tracking changes provides a foolproof method to avoid inadvertent errors.
Hello everyone and welcome back to this course on Word 2019 Advanced. We're down in section 10 where we're exploring the wonderful world of templates in Word. And in the previous modules we've seen where we can access our templates available from Microsoft, how we can load them up and then save as a template so that we can reuse it later on. And in this module I want to further that idea and create our own custom templates. So previously, when we've been selecting a template, we've been going to File, New, searching for our template, and then loading it up into Word. In this module, we're going to create our own from scratch. So what I have on the screen at the moment is just an empty blank document. And what I want to create is a template for a user manual. So it might be that I'm writing a guide to Microsoft Word 2019 that not only myself, but other members of my team are going to utilize for all the courses that they write as well. So I want to create a template that can be reused over and over again by different people to help maintain the consistency when it comes to the style of the document. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to build a cover page. And what you may or may not notice is that on the home ribbon in the styles group, I have some new styles loaded up. So these ones are different to the styles that I've been using throughout the course. Now, if you do want to change the type of style that you're using, if you jump to the Design tab, you'll see this group here that says Document Formatting. And if you click the drop down, this contains a whole bunch of style sets. And each one of these sets contains different properties, so different fonts for the title, heading 1s, 2s, 3s and 4s, and also for the normal text in the main body of the document. So if you don't like the default styles that you have, you can come in here and select a different style set. So I've selected this one here, which is the shaded style set. And what I've also done is I've modified the colors very slightly. So I wanted mine to be this teal kind of blue color. So I came into this colors drop down and just selected a different color palette. And I also modified the font style to a font that I wanted to use. So don't forget that you have these options just here to further customize your style sets. So with all that said, let's jump back to the home ribbon and let's start to build our cover page. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to center align my cursor, and I'm also going to turn on my formatting so you can see what I'm doing. Now I want my cover page information to be a little bit further down the page, so I'm just going to put in a few returns into there. And what I want to have on this cover page is basically the title of the document, the author, the company name, and also the date. And for this, I'm going to utilize document properties and fields. So we've seen before where these are kept. If we jump up to the insert ribbon and go across to the text group and into quick parts, we have our document property area. So the first thing I want to add into here is, and you can see that puts a little placeholder that says title in, which is great for templates because everybody who opens this is going to know what needs to go there. If I hit my enter key, you'll see that it moves my cursor down, but because of that paragraph spacing, I have quite a bit of a gap between my title and where I'm about to type. Now, if you want to get around that, or if you want less spacing, I should say, if you hold down Shift and press Enter, you'll see you don't get as big of a gap. So now what I want in here is the author name. So once again, I'm going to go to Quick Parts and down to Document Property, and I'm going to select Author. Now this author field will pick up the author name from the properties of this document. So because I created this document, it's populating my name in there. What I could do is click in here and just delete out my name, and it's just going to leave that placeholder of author. Shift and enter again. So now I'm going to add my company name. So once again, we're going to Quick Parts, Document Properties, and Company. Shift and enter, and finally I want to enter the date and time. Now you'll see in this text group I have an option for date and time, so let's insert it, and I'm going to choose the format that I want the date to be in, which is this one just here. Now I'm going to check this checkbox to update automatically so that every time this document is opened it's going to be the current date, and click on OK. And there we go. So I haven't actually hard-coded the title, the author, and the company in. I just have the fields there, which is perfect for a template. What I might also want to do is apply some formatting to these. So if I right-click and go to Font, I'm actually going to make this one a lot bigger. So let's make that 20 points. And then I'm going to have the author. Let's have that at 12 points. And we'll do the company. That's going to be 12 points as well. And then the date, I'm going to make that 12 as well, but I'm also going to make it italic and click on OK. And there we go. So now I have my cover page with the information on it that I need. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to enter a table of contents on my second page. So I'm going to create a page break, Control, Enter. Now I can see that my cursor is center aligned and also still in italics. So I'm going to turn off italics and I'm going to left align. And what I'm going to do is go up to References and I'm going to insert a table of contents. Like so. Now you'll see this table of contents says no table of contents entries found. And that's because we don't have any heading styles in our document as yet. But it's good to have it there as a placeholder in a template, because if it's already in the template, it just means that once people have put together the document, all they need to do is come back here and update it to pick up those table of contents entries. Now, after a table of contents, we will have a page break, so Control, Enter, which brings us down to the next page. So it might be that in this template, I want to let people know how I want a heading 1, a heading 2, and a heading 3 to look in this document. So I'm going to select from my styles, heading 1. And I'm just going to call this heading 1. I'm going to press Enter a couple of times and do a heading 2. Enter a couple of times, heading 3. And then finally, let's add a heading 4 in there as well. So it's good to have these in your template so that people know that they need to use this one for any main headings, this one for any heading 2s, so on and so forth. Now, something else I might want to do in this document is add in headers and footers. Now, I don't want to have anything on my cover page, but I do want to have headers and footers on page 3 and all of the pages thereafter. So I'm going to double click in my heading area and I'm going to say document info, and I'm going to add the document title. And I'm going to center this in my header. Now that's all I'm going to have in my header, but I do want to add some things into my footer. So I'm going to use the Go to Footer button to jump straight down to my footer. And now I'm going to select Footer and I'm going to choose blank 3 columns. And where it says type here, I'm going to replace this with the short version of the date, which is going to update automatically. I'm going to replace this one with the author name. And this one is going to be the page number. Now I need to put the page number in at the current position where I'm clicked. I'm just going to have a plain number. And I'm going to click Close Header Footer. So now if I scroll up, let's take a look. So the first page doesn't have anything on it, but the table of contents has picked up the header and the footer. Now the final thing I'm going to add in here is I'm going to do another page break, Control Enter, and I'm just going to add an index at the bottom. And I'm going to format this the same as the table of contents, and I'm going to add in, via the References tab, an index. I'm going to say from template, I want to right align those numbers and a dotted tab leader. Click on OK, and of course it's going to come up with no index entries found because we haven't marked any, but it just means that it's one less step for people who are using this template to do. And there we go. So if I jump into View and Multiple Pages, we can take a look at what we've got here. And what I also might do is just turn off Show Hide Marks to make that a bit cleaner. So you can see that we have our cover page with our placeholders there and a date that's going to automatically update. We have our table of contents ready to go. It just needs to be updated when we add headings. We have a page that shows the heading styles to be used in the document. And then finally on the last page, we have an index area. So this would be a really nice template that can be saved off to a shared drive and everybody in the team can access it when they're creating a user manual. And it's just going to ensure that everything looks the same and is consistent. Now let's just jump back to 100% because I want to show you one more thing related to these document property fields. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click in the title field and I'm going to add a title. Word 2019 User Guide. Now that I've typed that in, I'm probably going to want to make that a bit bigger so it stands out a bit more. So let's make that, let's make it 26 font and click on OK. I'm going to click in Author and I'm going to add my name and I'm going to add my company name underneath. But the cool thing here is because I use the title document property, now that I've added some text into that, if I scroll down and take a look at my header, you can see it's pulled that through because if you remember, in the header, I also use that title document property. So it's now going to flow through all of the document. The same thing with the author. So now that I've added my author to that cover sheet, it's pulling through everywhere I had that document property. So all in all, I think this is looking pretty good. So now that I've got my template, I'm going to save this off. So I'm going to go up to File, down to Save As, and I'm going to click Browse. Now the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to change the Save As type because I want to save this as a Word template. And you'll see that as soon as I do that, the path name where I'm saving this changes. And by default, it's going to save my template into custom Office templates. And as we saw before, that's a good idea because it means I can easily access them then from within Word. So this is going to be called Word 2019 User Guide, and I'm just going to call it Template. And click Save. So let's close this down. And now if I wanted to recall that template, if I click on File and go to New, all I need to do is click on the Personal section and you're going to see my Word 2019 User Guide template just there. And one thing you'll notice is that it opens it up as a brand new document. So any changes that I make to this, I'm not overwriting the actual template because it's put it out into a new document ready for me to save. So that is it. Hopefully it's given you some ideas. This was quite a good module because it gets us to practice some of the things that we've learned in the other modules as well. And we've ended up with a really nice user guide template. That's it for this module. I will see you in the next one.
Hello everyone, welcome to a new tutorial from Simon Sez IT. In this video tutorial, let us see how to split a page in Word. Microsoft Word is a great tool for reading. The layout and the tools it provides make reading lengthy paragraphs easy. One of the most used forms of formatting a document in Word is split page formatting. Splitting a page will help you emphasize different parts of the text in a single pane and lessens the need for additional papers when printing. Additionally, this gives you an overall aesthetic look, which makes your page more presentable. There are multiple ways to split a page in Word. Let us see them one after the other. One method to split the page in Word is by using the Layout option. To split a page, navigate to Layout option in the main menu. In the Page Setup section, click on the drop-down in Columns. Select the number of ways you want to split the page into. This splits the page into 2 columns equally. You can also split the page into 3 or 4 columns depending on your choice. From the Columns drop-down in the Layout menu, select the number of ways you want to split the page. In case you want additional customizations while splitting the page, click on the More Columns option from the drop-down. You can change the page break or section break from the Layout menu under the Breaks drop-down. Using tables is another way to split pages in Word. By using a table, you can split the text into 2 or 4 ways depending on your choice. First, insert a table using the Insert main menu. From the Table drop-down, select the number of columns you want to add. Since we want to split the page into 2 columns, select 1 row and 2 columns. Using the Extend button in the bottom right, you can extend the table to the desired length. You can move the table to your desired position by dragging the Move button in the top right of the table. If you want additional settings to the table, right-click on the Select Table Properties. You can adjust the height, width, border, and alignment of the cell and table of your choice. Now, type the content in the individual cells. Though the contents are filled in the cells, it still doesn't look like the page split. We need to remove the table, leaving the contents intact. To remove the table, navigate to Table Design. Select all the text. Under the drop-down from Border, select No Border. This removes the border and makes the page split into 2. In the same way, you can split the page into any number of partitions depending on your choice. There might be some instances where you only need to export the Word document with split pages and keep the original document intact. In such cases, you can split a page and import the Word document as a PDF without altering the original file. Navigate to the File menu and click on Print. This opens the Print pane towards the right. In the last drop-down, select 2 pages per sheet and click on Print. This opens up a dialog box asking you to save the document. Choose the file location, enter a file name, and click Save. Now, you can open the file in the saved location and see the page split into 2. In case you want to add additional settings and customizations to the split pages in the PDF file, click on the Page Setup setting in the Print pane to personalize the page to your liking. That is all, everyone. In this video, we saw how to split a page in Word. Thank you.
Hello everyone and welcome to this video tutorial on working with breaks in Microsoft Word. Now, if you've ever struggled to get a long Word document to look exactly as you would like, it might be that you need to brush up on using breaks in your documents. Now, breaks allow you to split up your document into independent chunks. And what you can do is apply formatting or different layout options to just that specific chunk. And there are 2 types of breaks that you can add into a Word document. The first one is a page break, and the second is a section break. So in this tutorial, I'm going to explore the usage of both of them. So let's start out by taking a look at page breaks. Now, by default, when you're working away in Word, Word automatically adds a page break when you get to the end of the page. However, you can insert a manual page break anytime you want and start a new page in your document. So for example, if you were writing a book, you might say to yourself that you want to ensure that each new chapter starts on a new page. So in order to achieve that, you would need to insert a manual page break at the end of the chapter to ensure the new chapter starts at the top of a new blank page. So let's take a look at how page breaks work in this document that we've got on the screen. Now this isn't a particularly long document, it's 5 pages or so, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to say that I want cast and characters, everything below that, to be on a new blank page. So I can achieve that by inserting a manual page break. Now, as with most things in Word, there are numerous different ways that you can insert page breaks, so I'm going to show you all of them. The first thing you can do is make sure you have your cursor clicked where you want to add the page break. Jump up to the Insert ribbon, and you can see in this first group there is an option there for page break. The second way that you can do it is to go across to the Layout ribbon, and underneath this Breaks drop down, this is where you'll see all the different kinds of breaks that you can add. And this first group is the Page Breaks group, and the top one is Page Break. The third way that you can add a page break in, and this is probably the method that I use most often, simply because it's the quickest, is to use the shortcut key Control Enter, which is exactly what I'm going to do now. Control Enter. And it adds in a page break and pushes all of that text down onto the next page. Now, if I scroll up, just by looking at this document in its current state, you can't see that there is actually a manual page break in there. And sometimes it's super useful to be able to see where you have breaks throughout your document. Now, in order to be able to see those breaks, all you need to do is jump back to the Home ribbon, go to your Paragraph group and turn on your Show Hide markers. And you can see that as soon as I do that, I can now see that I have a page break just there. This is also particularly useful if you need to delete page or section breaks from your document, because in order to do that, you need to be able to see them. So make sure you turn on Show Hide, and if you need to delete this page break, all you would do is select it and press the Delete key on your keyboard. Now I'm actually going to put that back in, so Control Enter. So page breaks are fairly straightforward. Now if we go back to Layout and just jump back into breaks, you can see there are a couple of other options that we have in there. So one of them is a column break. So this is essentially if you are utilizing columns in your document. So let me show you how this works very quickly. I'm going to click at the top of my document, and I'm going to divide this into 2 columns, like so. Now it might be on this second page that I decide I want to have a break, a page break essentially, after this paragraph House Lannister. But because I have my text in columns, what I would need to do would be to jump up to Breaks and say I want to break the column like so. And again, if I want to see where that break is, I just need to turn on those Show Hide markers, and you can see I have a column break. Now I'm actually going to undo a few times just to come out of there, because I don't want these in columns. Now the second type of break that you can add into a document is a section break. And again, if we jump up to this Breaks option in our Layout menu, you can see that we have 4 different types of section break. We have section break next page, which essentially works very similar to a page break. We have section break continuous, which allows you to insert a section break and start a new section on the same page. We have even page section breaks and odd page section breaks. So it really depends what type of section break you're looking for. Now you might be wondering, what's the difference between a page break and a section break? Well, section breaks allow you to divide your document up into different sections. So currently, I don't have any section breaks in this document. And if you look down right in the bottom left-hand corner, you can see here it's telling me that I have 1 section in my document. And it doesn't matter where I clicked in this document, it's going to say section 1 because I only have 1 section that spans multiple pages. Now, the reason why you might want to divide your document up into different sections is if you want to do different things on different pages. For example, if I scroll up to, scroll down to this third page just here, what if I want this third page to be landscape? So currently everything is in the portrait orientation, but maybe I just want this one page, page 3, to be landscape. Look what happens if I don't add in any section breaks. I'm clicked on page 3. I'm going to go up to the layout ribbon. I'm going to go to orientation. I'm going to select landscape. But if I scroll up, you'll see that the entire document is now in landscape, which is not what I want. Now I'm going to undo, and let's do that again, but this time we're going to add in section breaks. So what I want to do is essentially section off the page that I want to make landscape. So I'm going to make sure that I'm clicked at the top of the page before the first word. I'm going to go to breaks and I'm going to say section break continuous because I want to insert a section break and start the new section on the same page. So now that I've added that section break in, you'll notice that if I click in here, right in the bottom left-hand corner, it now says I'm working in section 2 because there is a section break at the start of this page. If I was to scroll up and click on the page previously, you'll see that it's showing me that that is section 1. So I have a section break at the beginning, and what I need to do is scroll down to the end of the page and add another section break at the end. So I'm going to go up to breaks, section break, continuous. So now if I go to the next page and click, you'll see that I'm in section 3. If I click on this page, I'm in section 2. And if I go back to that first page, that's now in section 1. So what this means is that I can click in my section 2, and now when I go to orientation and select landscape, the only page that's going to be landscape is that page that I've sectioned off. Another example of utilizing section breaks, if I come all the way out of here, is if I wanted to put just one page of text into columns. So again, I would click at the beginning of the page, go to break, insert section break continuous, and maybe I only want columns for this first couple of paragraphs. So I'm going to click at the end of this second paragraph. I'm going to go to breaks and say section break continuous. So now when I click in this first section, go to columns and say 2, you can see that it's only put that first bit in that first section into columns and the rest of it is flowing across one column as normal. If I want to view where I have those section breaks, back to home, turn on show hide, and you can clearly see where I have that section break continuous. So it really does help you divide up your documents and get exactly the layout that you're looking for. So hopefully that's demystified how page breaks and section breaks work. There's so much that you can do with them. For example, you can utilize them for having different headers and footers on different pages. Sometimes sections works for that. You can have different margins on different pages, different page borders, page numbering, so on and so forth. So again, it's definitely worth creating a blank document, adding some text, and then having a play around with section breaks and seeing how you can use them to format your document correctly. That's it on breaks. I hope that's been helpful to you. I look forward to seeing you in the next video tutorial. Hello everyone and welcome back to this course on Word 2019 Advanced. We're down in section 7 where we've been looking at dividing up our document using section breaks and page breaks. And throughout this section we've been looking at how section breaks affect other elements in our documents. And in this very quick module, I just want to show you how you can utilize another style of break, and that is the column break. Now, as we've seen previously, by default, when we're working in a Word document, we're essentially working in a one-column layout. But we can change the entire document or sections of the document so that it flows in more of a column format, a newspaper style. And when it comes to breaks, you have an option for column break. And this is what I want to demonstrate to you very quickly right now. So we're back in our company history document, which just contains some junk text. And the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a section, and I'm going to put that section into a different column layout. So I want this first paragraph to be in one column, which it is, but I want the next 3 paragraphs to be in column layout. So I need to section off these 3 paragraphs. I'm going to click my mouse at the end of that first paragraph. I'm going to jump up to break, and I'm going to insert a continuous section break. I'm going to go down to the end of the 3rd paragraph in this section, and I'm going to add in another continuous section break. So essentially, I've sectioned off these 3 paragraphs. I'm now going to change the layout of this section. I'm going to go up to columns, and I'm going to say that I want a 2-column layout. And there we go. So the paragraph above is 1 column. We then have 2 columns, and then it goes back to 1 column after the section break. Now, all that a column break is if you want to essentially break these columns. So I have this first little paragraph just here, and it might be that I want to add in a break or a column break so that everything below is pushed into the next column. And that's all a column break is. So I'm going to click my mouse at the end of this first paragraph in the first column. I'm going to go up to breaks and select the column option. And there we go. You can now see that everything else has been pushed into that second column, and we have our column break indicated after that first paragraph. So now that I've done that, I have this bit of blank space, and just for fun, I might want to add in a 3D model of whatever this document is related to, and we're just going to select the Earth, and I can then move that into the space that has been created. And remember, something else you might want to do here is if we go back up to layout and into columns, I'm going to jump down to more columns, and I might want a line between my columns like so. So that is it, just another tool for getting your document layout to look exactly as you want it to look. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next module.
Hello everyone, welcome to a new tutorial from Simon Sez IT. In this video, I will show you how to doublespace in MS Word. There are a lot of ways in Microsoft Word to improve the readability scale. One such way to improve the readability of the text is to use double spacing in Word. Double spacing increases the space between the lines of text. In this video, I will show you how to double space in Word to improve the readability using 4 easy methods. First, I will show you how to add double spacing to the text using the Design dropdown. Navigate to Design in the main menu. Under Document Formatting, click on the dropdown in Paragraph Spacing. Select Double from the dropdown. This formats the whole document with double spaces in between the lines and paragraphs. Next, let us see how to add double spacing by using line and paragraph spacing. Select the text you want to add double spaces to. Now navigate to Home, under Paragraph. Click on the line and paragraph spacing icon, and select 2.0. This adds double spaces to the selected text. Another way to set the double spacing and add customization to spaces is to use the Modify option in Styles. You can set the spacing for both the selected text and the whole document using this option. Navigate to Home. Under Styles, right-click on any of the styles. In most cases, Normal will be the default style, but you can select any style depending on your document. Right-click on any of the styles and select Modify. This opens up a Modify Styles dialog box. In the dialog box, select the double spacing option to enable double spacing to the text. Finally, this is the easiest method to add double spaces to the text. You can add double spacing to the text by using shortcut keys. This works both on the paragraphs and the selected text. To add double spaces, select the text you want to add double spaces. Press Ctrl+2. This adds double spaces to the selected text. You can also add a single space 1 or a space of 1.5 by pressing Ctrl+1 and Ctrl+5 respectively. In this video, we saw how to add doublespace in Word using 4 methods. These methods are similar, and you can use the method that is approachable. Use the method that suits you the best.
Indenting paragraphs can be a really helpful way of adding structure to your document. And there are numerous different ways that we can indent paragraphs in Word. So let's take a look at a few of them. Once again, I'm working in the document, The Comprehensive Guide to Coffee, and we're going to click in this first paragraph after the heading and the subheading. Now, if we jump up to the Home tab in the paragraph group, we have 2 little buttons just here. Now, if I hover over this first one, this is the Decrease Indent button, and this is going to move your paragraph closer to the margin. Now, currently in this document, all of my paragraphs are as close to the left-hand margin as they can go. But what about this other button? Well, this is going to increase the indent, so it's going to move our paragraph farther away from the margin. So let's click this one and see what happens. Well, as you can imagine, it's just going to indent that paragraph to the default first indent. And you can see by looking at the ruler that is just over 1 centimeter. If I want to remove this, I could then decrease the indent and it's going to take it back to the left margin. And I could click the Increase Indent button again. If I click it again, it's going to move further and carry on going. So I can really adjust these as I wish. Now notice that these changes are really just being applied to the paragraph that I'm clicked in. And if we turn on our Show Hide markers, we can see exactly where the end of that paragraph is. Now, if I want to apply indentation to numerous different paragraphs, I would need to make sure that I select all of the paragraphs that I want to indent. And then I can use my Increase Indent button to indent the whole lot. Now, as we've just seen, when we increase the indent, it increases it to the default measurement. But what if we want to use our own measurements? Or maybe we want a different style of indent. Maybe we want to indent the first line, but not the rest of the paragraph. And that is a technique you often see in novels, in books. The first line will be indented, but the rest will be back at the margin. So how can we do things like that? Well, let's take our paragraphs back to the left margin by decreasing the indent, and we're going to open up our advanced paragraph options. So let's click on the diagonal arrow, and you can see automatically it's taken us across to the indents and spacing page. And the second section here is all related to indentation. So let's move this over here so we can see the text underneath. So this is where I can get very granular about the amount of indentation I want to apply. So if I want to put this up, I can click the up arrow, and if you notice in the preview window, it's just showing me where that's going to indent to. So this gives me a little bit more control when it comes to how far away from that left margin my paragraph is. I could even indent from the right margin. So if I put this up, notice it's going from the other side. And if I want to manually change this, I can simply click in the box, type in the exact indentation level I want, and press enter. So really nice and straightforward. Now I'm going to click in this first paragraph one more time and reopen up our advanced paragraph editing, because we do have some other options here underneath this special drop down. So this is where I can choose if I want a first line indent or a hanging indent. So if I say first line indent, take a look in the preview. This is what you see in novels. If I click on OK, it's going to indent just the first line of the paragraph and leave everything else at that left margin. And I can even customize exactly how far across I want that indent to be. So if I need it to be a little bit further along, I can adjust this, click on OK, and I get a completely different effect. Now I'm going to Control Z just to undo this and take it back to how it was. Let's open up our options again and take a look at the other thing that we have underneath this special drop down, and that is a hanging indent, which is kind of the opposite of the first line indent. This time it's going to leave the first line of the paragraph at the margin, but it's going to indent everything else. And once again, we can adjust exactly by how far we want to indent. If we click on OK, we get a completely different effect. So really, this is entirely up to you how you want to manage indents in your document. Just remember, if you're just clicked in the paragraph, it will only apply the indent to that paragraph. If you want to apply it to multiple, simply select the paragraphs, jump into the advanced options, and then you can choose whatever level of indentation you want. It's time now to shift our focus away from text very slightly and start talking about paragraphs. Because there are a whole heap of different options that we can use in Word 2021 to format entire paragraphs. Now, the first thing we need to establish, if you're not sure, what exactly is a paragraph? Well, in the context of Word, a paragraph is basically wherever the writer, the typer, has hit the Enter key. So this information that we have in this particular document, if you remember, we just copied and pasted it in from Wikipedia. It doesn't necessarily have paragraphs in the correct places. So if I have a quick read through and maybe I decide that there needs to be a new paragraph after the word area, I can click my cursor, hit the Enter key, and now Word considers this block of text to be a brand new paragraph. Incidentally, even the title in this document is considered to be a paragraph. And I think in general we wouldn't normally think of that, but because we've hit the Enter key after the title, this first line is a paragraph in itself, the first paragraph in this document. Now there are different ways that we can format entire paragraphs in our Word document. And I guess some of the more common things you might want to do with paragraphs is change the alignment. So if you notice, by default, if we take this first paragraph as an example, the text is aligned to the left-hand side, and we have what we call a raggedy edge over on the right-hand side. So everything is always going to be nicely lined up to the left because the default is left alignment. And if we take a look up on the home ribbon in the paragraph group, you can see that I have left alignment selected by default. Notice the keyboard shortcut there of Ctrl+L. But what if I wanted to align this text to the middle? Well, if we move across to the next icon, we can change this to center alignment, keyboard shortcut Ctrl+E. And that's just going to place that text in the center of the page. And as you might have guessed, we do have a right alignment as well, Ctrl+R, which will give us a nice straight line on the right-hand side and the raggedy edge on the left. Now, if you're wondering what the other alignment tool up here is, this is Justify, keyboard shortcut Ctrl+J. And Justify will basically distribute your text evenly between the margins. So if we click this option, we're basically going to get a nice straight line on both edges. We don't get that raggedy edge, as we call it. And what you might notice is that in order to achieve this, Word will kind of extend the character spacing in the paragraph. And if you've ever read a newspaper, which I think most of us have, Justified is the alignment that newspapers use, so you get a nice, clean, crisp look in columns. Now for this particular document, I want this to be aligned to the left. But interestingly, although I have been selecting the entire paragraph each time, I don't actually have to do that if I want to change the alignment. All I need to do is click somewhere in the paragraph and either use the keyboard shortcut or click on Align Left in order to change that entire paragraph. Now there's lots of other things that you can do with paragraphs, which we're going to take a look at throughout this section. But let's just finish by taking a look at a couple of other little options that we have in here with regards to formatting paragraphs. So once again, I'm clicked in this first paragraph. If we jump up to the paragraph group, notice here that I can click the drop down and I can apply a background fill color to my paragraphs. So maybe I want to change this to a blue color. I could even put a border around particular paragraphs. So I'm going to say all borders, and that really makes this first paragraph stand out from the rest of the text. So your alignment tools and your paragraph formatting tools can really make a huge difference when you're putting together a Word document. In this lesson, we're going to take a look at how you can quickly and easily create a bulleted or numbered list. And these are really useful if you have certain list items that you want to stand out in your document, and it makes your document a lot easier to read. Now, I'm working in a completely different document, and you'll find this document ready to go in the course files folder, so make sure that you have this downloaded. Now, all of the information in this document I've just grabbed off of Wikipedia and pasted in. And I haven't applied any formatting to this document as yet. Now, I can see in the bottom left-hand corner that this document is 15 pages long. And the page that I want to work on is actually page 13. So let's use Go To jump directly to that page. Control G is the shortcut key to bring that up. Let's type in 13, Go To, and now I'm in the spot that I want. Now here I have a list of countries, and this basically shows the top 10 coffee consuming countries measured per capita and per annum. And this looks kind of fine, but I want to make this a bulleted list so that it really stands out and makes it easier to read. Now, if I click in the first line item here, Finland, jump up to the Home tab, notice in the paragraph group, we have a row up here which relates to bullets and numbering. So let's take a look at this first one just here. This is where we can create a bulleted list. Now, if I click the drop down, I gain access to the bullet library. So this really allows you to customize the style of bullet that you're using. Now, the most common one is the first one just here, a plain old bullet. So let's select it. And now it's bulleted just that first line item. Now, I really want to have bullets applied to this entire list. So do I have to go through selecting each one and applying bullets? No, I don't. I can make my selection first of all and then apply bullets in all one go. So let's undo. I'm going to do Control Z to undo that. Let's select the entire list of countries, and then I can just click the bullets button. And if I just click the button as opposed to clicking the drop down and selecting from the bullets library, it's going to apply that first default bullet. So now my list looks a lot neater. Now, the difference here is that once you've applied bullets to the entire list, if you want to change these bullets, so maybe I decide I want a different type of symbol, I don't have to highlight the entire list again because Word recognizes it's already a list. So I can simply click my cursor anywhere in this list, click the drop down, and let's choose something else from the bullet library. And it changes for everything. And the cool thing about bulleted lists is that if I click at the end where we have Canada and press the Enter key, it's automatically going to give me another bullet point so I can carry on typing in the next item in my list. Now, another thing to be aware of is that you do have different levels of bullet. So maybe underneath each of these countries, I want to break it down by their major cities. So what I could do is click at the end of Finland. If I press Enter, I'm going to get another bullet on the same level. But if I press my Tab key, it's going to indent and give me a different style of bullet. So this is kind of for your secondary list items. So maybe I want to put in here some information specifically related to the city of Helsinki. And I could carry on going. So if I click at the end of Norway, press my Tab key, I can then type in the next item, so on and so forth. We even have a third level list. So if I press Tab again, it's going to carry on going. So the Tab key is going to give you different levels of indented bullet. If you want to indent back out again, Shift Tab will take you backwards. Now, what about if I want to remove bullets? Well, all I need to do here is click the drop down and choose None. And that's going to remove the bullet from that line only. But what about if I want to remove the bullets from the entire list? Well, I need to select the list and then choose None from the bullet library. Now, I'm going to tidy this list up a little bit. Let's remove those cities to take it back to how it was previously. So bullet points are really simple to apply. But what about if I want to turn this into a numbered list instead? Maybe this would make more sense because it is effectively a top 10 list or a top 11 list as we've added a new item. Because this is the first time that I'm applying a numbered list, I need to make sure that I select the entire list first, and then I can go up to the numbering option. Now, if I click the drop down here, we do have a numbering library. So again, this depends on what type of numbers you want to apply to this list. You might want 1, 2, 3. You might want 1, 2, 3 with a bracket around it. You might want Roman numerals. You might want uppercase, lowercase, so on and so forth. So let's apply this one just here, 1, 2, 3, and it applies to the entire list. If I hit enter, again, I'm going to get the next bullet. And if I press the tab key, it's going to give me my indented bulleted item. So really nice and straightforward. Now I'm going to select this entire list again, and let's choose none to reset it. The final thing I want to show you here is how you can use a picture as your bullet instead. So once again, I'm going to select the entire list. Let's click the drop down, and notice at the bottom we can choose to define a new bullet. So if you decide that you don't like any of these bullets available in the bullet library, we can pretty much use any picture as a bullet. So if you have a little picture or a logo or something like that saved off to your hard drive, you could choose picture and then browse for it in that way. Or alternatively, and sometimes this does work a little bit better, we could choose a symbol from Word's inbuilt symbol gallery. So let's click on symbol. It's going to open up all of the symbols that we have available, and I could choose something from here to use as a bullet. So let's use a star. I'm going to select it from the gallery, click on OK. I'm getting a preview as to what that's going to look like. And when I click on OK, it's going to use stars as bullet points instead. The final thing to mention here is the little button that we have at the top here, and this is for a multi-level list. So currently I basically have a single level list. If I select all of the items and click the drop down, I can choose one of these options. So this is where I can really customize what those different levels look like. So if the top level has a 1 next to it, if I press the tab key, the next item is going to be 1.1. Tab key again, the next item is going to be 1.1.1. And we have various different inbuilt preset styles that we can apply. So if I choose this one, I have my numbered list 1 to 11. But if I have other items in this list, when I press the tab key, it's going to give me 1.1. If I press the tab key again, I get 1.1.1. So you really do have a whole list of different styles that you can use, not only for bullets, but also when you're trying to construct a numbered list in your document.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new tutorial from Simon Sez IT. In this video, let us see how to wrap text in Word. There are 2 ways to add an image to a Word document. You can either copy and paste the image or insert the image using the Insert main menu. This adds the image to the place where you have placed the cursor. The image automatically populates the page based on the resolution and dimension of the image. You will then need to change the alignment and wrap the text to suit the document overall. Let us get right into it. To move an image and wrap the text along with it, click on the image and navigate to Picture Format, and click on the drop-down from Position. Click on the place where you want to add the image. In this case, let us choose to add the image to the top center of the page. This moves the image to the top center and wraps the text around it. Now, you can click on the image and use the anchor points to resize the image, and even rotate the image. You can freely move the image using the border lines. When you move the image, the text automatically wraps around it. There are also a few additional options that you can use to move the image and wrap text around it. Navigate to Picture Format, and click on the drop-down from Wrap Text for more choices to wrap the text. When you click on the Inline with Text option, Word treats the image as text. You cannot move the image freely and the text won't wrap around the image. However, you can move, resize, and rotate them and they will align themselves next to the text. When you click on the Square option, the space around the image takes the shape of a square and the text wraps around the image. This case is mostly used when you have to place the image in the center of the page. Wrapping text in Word using the tight option is also similar to the square option. While using the tight option, the image becomes square and the text is wrapped evenly around it. This through option allows the text to appear as if it's passing around, but the text does not literally pass through the image. Using this option, you can easily move, resize, and rotate the text freely. The top and bottom method of wrapping text in Word has the text up and down the image, leaving the sides empty. The image populates in the middle of the page, and the text to the left and the right of the image moves to the top and bottom. Using the behind text and in front of text options, you can either move the image to the background where the text overlaps the image, or you can move the image to the foreground where the image overlaps the text. Click on the Behind Text option to add an image behind the text. If you want it in front of the text, click on the In Front of Text option to add an image before the text. That is all, everyone. Knowing to wrap a text in Word sure helps you improve the readability and overall profile of your document. Choose the option that suits you the best. Thank you. Hello everyone, welcome to a new tutorial from Simon Sez IT. In this video tutorial, I will show you how to curve text in Word. One feature that makes Microsoft Word stand out is the ability to offer a wide variety of additional customization and formatting options. Microsoft Word lets you change the format and dimensions of the text. This makes it a great addition to newsletters, logos, posters, and magazines. Let us see how to curve text around an object using word art. First, open Microsoft Word and insert an image. To insert an image, navigate to Insert and click on the drop-down from Picture and select the image. Now, navigate to Insert. Under the Text section, click on the drop-down from Word Art and choose any style. Once you choose the word art style, the placeholder text saying Your Text Here appears. Click on the word art sample text and type in your text. After typing your text, select the word art style by double-clicking on the text. Then, navigate to the Shape Format ribbon. Under the Word Art Style section, click on the drop-down from Text Effects. Click on Transform and select any of the curve styles. Now, we have the required curved text in Word. Once you click on the text, the word art style is highlighted. You can then use the outline to move the style and use the anchor points to resize the style. The yellow point, which appears when the text is selected, is used to change the curvature of the text. Additionally, you can use the Layout Options button, which appears on the right side of the selection to change the wrapping style of the particular word art style. Sometimes, you might want to curve the text without adding any word art effects. First, let us add the text to curve. Navigate to Insert. Under the Text section, click on the drop-down from Text Box and select Draw Text Box. Now, left-click and drag on the page to draw the text box. Type in the text you want. You can also move or resize the text box using the outline and anchor points respectively. Once you have typed in and customized your text, right-click on the text box outline and select Format Shape. In the Format Shape pane, click on Shape Options. Click on the Fill and Line button. Under the Fill section, select No Fill. Let us now curve the text. Navigate to Shape Format in the main menu ribbons. Click on the drop-down from Text Effects. Under the Transform section, select any of the curve styles. This adds the curve effect to the selected text. Now, you can use the outline, anchor points, and the yellow spot to change the curvature of the text. In case you want to remove the curved text, navigate to Shape Format. Under the Word Art Style section, click on the drop-down from Text Effects, and under Transform, select None. That is all, everyone. Curving text in Word helps give your document a complete and professional look. In this video, we saw how to curve text in Word easily. Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new tutorial from Simon Sez IT. Microsoft has a variety of features to help users troubleshoot any last-minute mishaps or perform any intricate functions with ease. Usually, in Microsoft Word, we predominantly deal with documents of varying lengths and content ranging from a single paragraph to multiple pages. Having to change or replace the content of the document is even more difficult. Here is where the Find and Replace option comes to save your time and effort. Using this option, you can just scroll through the entire document, find the particular word/words, and replace it with the desired word easily. To Find and Replace option in Word, first navigate to Home. Under Editing, select the Replace option. The Find and Replace dialog box opens. In the Find What text box, enter the text you want to find. In the Replace With dialog box, enter the text you want to replace the previous text with. In this case, we want to replace the word document with the word file. So enter the word file in the Replace With text box. Once you have entered the word to find and replace in both text boxes, click on Replace. When you first click the Replace button, Microsoft Word searches the document and highlights the first instance of the particular word. Again, when you click on Replace, the found word is replaced. The word document is replaced by the word file, and Word highlights the next instance of the word document. If you again click on Replace, the next instance of the Word document is replaced with the word file. Click on the Replace button again to replace the word, and the next instance of the word will be highlighted. This way, you can replace all the words throughout the document. In case you don't want to replace a particular word, just click on the Find Next button. This will leave the particular word and highlight the next instance of the word to be replaced. Clicking on the Replace button replaces words one by one. Once all the words are found and replaced, Microsoft Word throws a pop-up saying, "We're finished searching the document." Click on OK to remove the pop-up and go back to the Find and Replace dialog box. To replace all the entries in the document with the required word, enter the necessary text in both the Find What and Replace With text boxes. Click Replace All. This replaces the text throughout the document, and Microsoft Word throws a pop-up saying, "All done," along with the number of replacements made. In this video, we saw how to find and replace a particular text or text in specific places or throughout the document. Using Find and Replace helps improve efficiency and reduces the time taken to complete the task.
Hello everyone, and welcome to this video tutorial on how to create and update an index in Microsoft Word. Now, an index is something that you can insert into any Word document, but it's particularly useful if you have a long document. What an index is, if you're not sure, is it lists the terms and topics discussed in the document listed in alphabetical order. So the index is normally found at the end of the document. You can go to the end of the document, you can see all of the main headings, all of the main subjects or topics in the index listed in alphabetical order, and it will show you what page number those topics are located on. So it's similar to a table of contents in many ways, except that it appears at the end of the document and it's in alphabetical order. And it is pretty simple to create an index in Word. There's just a couple of things you need to do prior to actually inserting the index into the document. So let's jump into this example. What you can see here on the screen is that I have a document, and this is related to Game of Thrones. Now, it's not particularly long, it's about 6 pages or so long. But what you can see here is that I have certain headings and subheadings throughout my document. So Game of Thrones is the title, and I've marked this with a heading 1 word style. I have overview underneath, which is marked with a heading 2. As you scroll through, you can see I have a few heading 2s, and then we move on to the subheadings, House Stark, which is a heading 3, and we have various other heading 3s throughout this document. So essentially my document is made up of heading 1s, heading 2s, and heading 3s. And what I want to do is I want to put these into an index at the end of the document. So what I essentially need to do prior to inserting the index is mark all of the entries that I want to appear in that index. So I'm going to select Game of Thrones. I'm going to go up to my References tab, and you can see that I have an index group just here. Now, one of the options I have is Mark Entry. Now, because I've highlighted the word Game of Thrones, it's picked that up as the title of this entry. Now, you can go in and change that if you wanted to say something different in the index, but most of the time you're going to want to keep that the same. There are other things that you can change in here, but for this demonstration, I'm just doing a basic index. I'm just going to go straight down to the bottom and I'm going to say Mark. And what you'll see if I move that little box out of the way is that we have some strange looking field codes just here. Now I will say don't worry about that too much. That's just Word's way of specifying that this entry needs to be picked up in the index when we create it. And I'll show you in a moment how you can get rid of those so you can't see them in the document. Now what I want to do is go through this entire document marking everything that I want to appear in that index. So now what I want to do is I want to mark Overview. So I'm going to click where it says Overview, click back in my Mark Entry box so it updates, and I'm going to say Mark. And I'm going to do the same for Cast and Characters. I'm going to say Mark. Now one little trick here is that Cast and Characters then has some subheadings. So we have House Stark, we have House Lannister, and we have House Targaryen. Now, if you want the subheadings to appear indented in the index so that you can see that they are in fact subtopics of Cast and Characters, then you can do that when you're marking the entries. So if I select House Stark and click, you can see here it lists House Stark as the main entry. So what I want to do is I'm going to highlight the word House Stark. I'm going to press Ctrl X to cut it, and I'm going to paste it into sub-entry, Ctrl V. And I'm going to say the main entry is Cast and Characters. And then I'm going to click Mark. And I'm going to do exactly the same for these other subheadings. So House Lannister, I'm going to take that, I'm going to cut it, Ctrl X, I'm going to paste it, Ctrl V, and that is also a subheading of Cast and Characters. Click Mark. Let's do the same once again for House Targaryen. Ctrl X to cut, Ctrl V to copy, and main entry, Cast and Characters. So that process there is if you want those headings to appear indented so that you can see that they're part of Cast and Characters. Click on Mark. Now we're back to our heading 2, so Conception and Development. Let's click. I'm happy with that being a main entry. And if we scroll down, we have Filming. Click. Mark. And that is it in our document. I'm now going to click Close. So you can see that I've now marked all of those entries that I want to appear in the table of contents. And as I said, if you want to toggle off these little field codes, if you go to the Home ribbon and just turn off the Show Hide markers, and that will get rid of those. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to the bottom of this document, and I would always advise that you put things like table of contents or index pages on a new blank page. So what you might want to do is insert a page break. Now a quick way of doing that is to click at the bottom of your text and press Ctrl Enter, and that's going to put you on a new page. Now I like to give myself a couple of returns because I'm going to go back and add a title for my index in a moment. I'm going to jump up to references and I'm going to go to my index group and I'm going to say insert index. Again, I have some options in here, so I can choose to right align the page numbers if I want to. I can change the tab leader, which is these little dots just here. But for the most part, I'm happy with how this is going to look. I'm going to have it in 2 columns. And you can see I've selected indented so that those items that I did mark as subheadings will show as indented in the index. And I'm going to click on OK. And there we go. So there we have our index. And you can see here we have cast and characters. And then all of those items that we marked as subheadings are slightly indented. So it gives it a little bit of structure and meaning. Now, remember that these are all listed in alphabetical order. They're not in chronological order. So we have cast and characters first, then conception and development, filming, Game of Thrones, and overview, and the different page numbers that those appear on. So now all I need to do is I can go in and I can just say index if I want to, and I can give that a heading style of heading 1. Now it might be that you want to also include the index in your index. So again, all I would need to do is select where we've got index. I'm going to go to references and I'm going to mark this entry. And this is going to be a main entry. I'm going to say mark and click on close. I'm just going to turn off those show hide markers. And what I need to do now is I need to update the index so it's going to include this new entry that I've marked. So if I click in the index, I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to right click and I have the option there of update field. And you'll see when I click update, I now have that index listed in my index and it's telling me that it's on page 6. So just remember that anytime you do make changes, if you add more headings or more items into the bulk of the document, you're going to need to come down to the index and make sure that you do update it either by right-clicking, alternatively on the References tab, you have an Update Index button there as well. But that is it, fairly straightforward. I hope you found that useful and I will see you in the next video tutorial.
If you're not a subscriber, click down below to subscribe so you get notified about similar videos we upload. To see the full course that this video came from, click over there. And click over there to see more videos from Simon Sez IT.